Howdy, and welcome to the Feed Bandit podcast, where we talk all things hunting and introduce you to the most innovative hunting gear and services. Here are your hosts, Jimmy Byrne and Richard Kinchlow. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Check. Rio 1.
Rio 2 here.
Oh, God. Awful.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast. Your somewhat suffering host, Jimmy, here, along with Richard. How you doing?
Oh, doing much better than you are. That's great. Yeah, so funny.
But, that's kind of a good segue maybe into what the topic we want to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
In a way. Maybe indirectly. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
That's talking about game meat.
Yes.
How do we prepare our game meat? Well, maybe we start with, how do we, preserve it, I guess, maybe. And then
that's good.
How do we like to prepare it for ourselves, but also, for our family, and especially the people either in our family or not who are not the biggest fans, whether that's because they don't necessarily like it or they've had it prepared in a way they didn't like in the past, or because like most people, when they hear the word deer or something else like that,
my God,
they automatically think they won't like it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, deer, I think it is an acquired skill to make.
Oh God,
good. Well, certain cuts. I mean, some cuts are easy, I think, but yeah. So I don't know. Where do you want to start? We could. I think we should hit, different types of game, obviously.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, you're exactly right. It is kind of a skill. It's not get back from the grocery store, rip the cellophane off and throw it in a pan. There's a lot more to it. By the time you get to the grocery store, that meat's already been handled and had everything done to it. So I think we start with deer. I think that's probably the most logical. God willing, all of our listeners or freezers are full of it, and it's good to go. But one of the biggest complaints that I hear about venison, whitetail mule deer especially, is that is the flavor. It's just too rich. It's quote unquote too gamey, and it's just too tough. They say, I shot this deer, and that night we threw it on the grill. We just literally seasoned a little salt and pepper, threw it on the grill. Well, the only thing you've done right is a little salt and pepper. If you really want my honest opinion, venison, venison is of extremely lean meat. Okay, it's not like a cow tenderloin, that's and even it needs a little bit of time, to dry age and whatnot. But the secret with venison, again, in my opinion, is time. Really, is time. And so what I like to do is after I've removed that back strap or the loin as they call it, then the tenderloins, is obviously wash it off, get the hair off of it, and I throw it in some Ziploc bags, and I won't even touch it as far as attempting to try to eat it until at least a week and a half of it sitting in my refrigerator and me going back every other day and dumping the blood out of there. As that meat ages and it starts to break down, that muscles start to break down. That's what makes it kind of tender, and that's what makes it a lot easier to eat. Along the same lines as that meat starts to break down, the blood starts to get in the bag. It goes from that dark red to kind of that pink. And then really it's when you get that pink color is when it really starts to lose that quote unquote gamey flavor. I have found that to work incredibly well. If you follow that method and you cook it and it's still kind of gamey, something else I think you can do with whitetail and mule deer is that you can go ahead and use a tenderizer on it, and that's kind of my second step to making like venison backstrap extremely delicious. Is we use what's called a Jacardi. In fact, I think we've got it on our website. The Jacardi is it's basically a meat tenderizer with these 30 little blades in it, and we've got a video on it too on our YouTube page. I know that for a fact. And you basically get that back strap after it's bled out for a while, or if you want to do this before you let it bleed, this will help speed the process up. You get that Jacardi and you just press it down, and you just go along the back strap, and you'll eventually get these little holes in there. Well, that's going to start to flatten that back strap out, so it's going to cook easier too. But what that's really doing is that's tenderizing. It's breaking down that muscle. And I'll tell you what, you flip that back strap over, do it a couple more times, maybe do both sides twice. Within about 15 minutes, you've got yourself a damn good piece of meat. At that point, let it bleed, and then, medium rare, and I swear to God, you'll be able to cook that thing with a fork. I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes.
You're gonna cook it with a fork?
Oh, cut it with a fork, idiot! I'm so dumb. Let's redo the podcast. Yeah. But you'll literally be able to cut that thing with the fork, and that's no joke. I think that's one of the biggest problems is that people just try to take it from the deer to the grill, and you just can't. I mean, you can do that, sure, but if you really want it to taste really, really good, bleed it out, tenderize it, give it some time, man, age it, and I think it'll turn out pretty damn good. That's the way we do it, and it is a household favorite from my 4-year-old to me. So
well, I think next time I'm gonna try that, going straight from the deer to the grill, just to see what it's like, at least with a little piece.
You would
never. Hey, I experiment, so.
No, that's true. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. But, there's also the old school method of, the buttermilk, right?
Yes, totally.
To help with the game taste and all that.
Sure.
I've done that once or twice. And, I don't really find that it's that much different than what you were just talking about.
I agree.
Like, what I'll do is, I like to, as soon as I, get home with my back straps, especially, well, I mean, whatever piece I bring home, truly other than the tenderloin, because you don't really need to cut too much off that, but your back straps, and if I bring home some roasts or whatever,
right,
I'll that day I'll cut off all the excess crap that I don't want, on there, and then I'll put it in the bags and let it bleed out at that point. Just to get rid of all that stuff automatically. While I'm doing it, I also feed some to my dog just to give him.
Of course, yeah, oh yeah.
You give the scraps to him, of course. But
yeah.
But no, yeah, I do the same thing. Let it bleed out, for a while. I mean, at least a week, sometimes a week and a half. Just depends on, I don't know, depends on a lot of things, I guess. That makes it determine whether it needs longer or not. But even once after cleaning the deer. Immediately after cleaning the deer in the cooler, I always put the prime cuts in freezer bags.
Yep.
Even sitting in there, so that it doesn't develop that that refrigerator kind of crust.
Yeah. It gets a little crispy in there sometimes. In open air. Yeah.
Right. Open air. So I'll immediately put the prime cuts, and at least the prime cuts in there, and usually the other cuts. That I want to bring home and not, say, grind or process.
Right. Well, you brought up a really good point. Something I really failed to mention is cutting off all that junk. The silver skin, okay, or suin, right, is that stuff that's on top of the back strap, and it's actually on the side too. And you've heard of some guys. I mean, the back strap is tough enough if you don't tenderize it. If you put that stuff on there, I mean, you're gonna have to be like Jaws. From was it Moonraker or James Bond when, trying to eat that stuff. You'll never be able to do it. I mean, the Indians, or Native Americans, use that stuff for bowstrings. I mean, they use it to tie stuff with. I mean, it's incredibly strong. So no, you're exactly right. You got to get rid of that crap. That's like you said, step one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's getting the meat ready. I the same as you like to do a little tenderizing, but you know what I like to do rather than putting the whole backstrap steak in a pan or on the grill is I cut it in half.
Yeah,
and it allows them to cook a little faster, but I feel like I can regulate the cooking a little better. And
Yeah, sure.
especially if I'm marinating it.
Yep.
If I cut it in half, the marinade gets more, through better on
Right.
both halves
Right.
instead of the one big piece.
No,
That way,
it's a good point.
kind of the taste gets, more distributed through there.
Yep. No, for sure. For sure.
Otherwise, yeah. I tell you what, I found one of the best marinades is deals with the Montreal steak seasoning.
Yes.
And then take like a cup, measuring cup, and fill it about 40% or so with water.
Oh, come on. I don't do math.
Okay, let's just say a third with water, which is less than 40. But
I don't know fractions anymore.
Well, just so you can see, divided by 3.
Gotcha. Okay, so 6. Got it.
Right. A third with water, about a third to a little more with olive oil, and then the rest with white wine vinegar. And then you just pour Montreal steak in there till it's, and then you stir it together, and then you pour enough in there to where, and you taste it, and you have to be liberal with pouring the Montreal steak in there, and you pour enough in there to where you say you're mixing it with a fork, pull that fork off, it's generally covered with the Montreal steak sauce. And when oh my God, it is amazing. Really? It's great. It's great that on venison. But I tell you what, the best that is on is like on a skirt steak or something. That type of thing. But anyway, I'll use that on my thin backstrap steaks. So I'll marinate it for like an hour, and then oh my God, it's so good.
Now what? Now I was gonna. Now do you said you let it marinate for an hour? Have you ever tried longer?
Oh yeah, I've done it like half a day overnight.
Yeah.
It's I find that it's a little better not for a day or not overnight. I don't like it to go too long because the longer it goes, it kind of just it's overkill. It oversaturates.
Oh, really?
Right?
Interesting.
But to each their own.
Yeah. Excellent.
Otherwise, if I don't do that, I'll just do like garlic, salt, and pepper. The old school.
Right.
That's great too.
Oh yeah. I am just a straight Montreal guy, or like you said, salt and pepper. I typically don't use any wet marinades. Kind of the same thing with my briskets. I use salt and pepper and that's it. But talking about bleeding it out, something I just remembered, and there's a lot of folks that are against it, but dude, it hasn't killed me yet. It really hasn't. One of the things that I chop up a lot of my own deer meat. We do the grind and all that stuff, but we also I make a lot of jerky. So I'll bring quarters home and I'll get my fillet knives real sharp and I'll just skin it off that quarter. So one of the things I like to do is I like to put those quarters in my Yeti and with ice and then let them bleed out in there. Well, especially in Texas, as you all know, it can just get thinking, like it was yesterday. It was 80 degrees. Now it's 45. So sometimes you're gonna get a little water in your cooler, and the deer meat's gonna sit in the water for a little bit, and freezing water, okay, but water, nonetheless. And they say that's terrible for you, but God, let me tell you, dude. I mean, Jimmy, I know you've done it. There's been a couple of times where I'll pull those deer quarters out. I'm like, dude, is this venison or is this pork? Right. I mean, there is something about that just wicks that blood away like crazy. So, if the gaminess is really a problem, okay, and I don't, and you really want to get that meat nice and pink, damn near pork looking, okay. Get you a nice cooler, and you can put the meat on there on ice. Just try not to let it sit in the water. Obviously, that's when you get the bacteria, and of course, the bacteria leads to the diarrhea, which is funny, sometimes. But,
it's funny until the last 2.5 days, or 21 days in someone else's case.
Absolutely miserable. It's what happens when you drink too much and you finish a bunch of oysters that have been sitting out for 4 hours. Dumb move, but man.
That's a bad idea, Gene.
I was so sick, but I'm like, hey, look at this. I can actually wear jeans. I can actually wear my fat jeans. Because, when you have diarrhea, everything 15 times a day, it's a pretty good diet. So it's pretty miserable. But
Yeah.
all right, so that's how we take care of the deer. What are we moving to next?
Let's tell the folks our favorite ways to prepare deer real quick.
Yeah.
Just to throw it out there, see if
Yeah.
see what people think. Mine is the deer popper.
Yes.
Personally.
God.
And that's what I like. I like to use the back straps for it,
Mm-hmm.
and cutting them into like about inch cubes.
Mm-hmm.
And this I do marinate for a while, and I'll marinate it in this teriyaki sauce. It's a specific kind, and my God, if I could remember what it was. Anyway, I have the recipe. It's on the website. I'll put a link in the show notes, but it's a specific teriyaki sauce, and I'll marinate them probably. Well, I take that back. I stopped doing it overnight a while ago because they got a little hard that way. But, so I do it like in the morning.
Right.
So I'll prepare it, or I'll put it in the marinade in the morning, and then for cooking that evening. So not necessarily like overnight for the next evening, just the morning of that day for the evening. And I don't do onions or anything like that. I'll just do
communist.
just cream cheese, and I'll slice jalapenos. Not out of the jar, but of course, fresh jalapeno.
Oh, really? Oh, you're nuts, dude. Oh, and by the way, you said jalapeno. You sound like a Illini. Hey, Rich, do you want some jalapenos on your nachos? What the hell's a jalapeno?
And then, of course, you wrap them in bacon, but you got to get the thick cut bacon.
Oh, totally agree.
That's key. And then the best way to cook them, in my opinion, is not on the grill.
Okay.
You cook them in the oven. But what you do is you use you go to like Academy or somewhere like that.
Right.
I use the one from Academy, and it's the raised up jerky tray. Basically.
Yeah.
So they're raised above, and I'll put each one on I have these metal kebabs.
Yeah.
3 or 4 on each kebab, and spread them out. And that's how I'll cook them in there, because they get a better, more uniform cook in the just because of circulation or whatever.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, I mean, I'll cook them. Yeah, oh my God, they're so damn good. Anyway, that's my favorite way. Hey, hold on one quick moment. Hey folks, have you ever wished that there was an easier way to find the hunting feeds, supplies, and services you need, when and where you need them? If so, check out our hunter search at feedbandit.com, where you can see what hunting suppliers are in your area or are on the way to your land. Don't waste any more precious time searching Google or calling around for feed, blinds, feeders, or even outfitters. Just use our targeted search for hunters, the Feed Bandit Hunter Search, over at feedbandit.com. We'll find your feed.
Excellent. Well, I've actually got 3. They're all up there at the top. So I think my favorite for venison is just the simplest form. Again, a good little hunk of a venison backstrap that's been tenderized and bled out. Like we said, Montreal seasoning on both sides, salt and pepper, or salt and pepper, a little bit on the grill, and you're done. That's definitely one. Tied for second, I think, is going to be these 2. Every Christmas we do a venison Wellington. And God, and we did it for the 17th annual Feed Bandit company party. We've only been in existence 3 years, but we call it 17. And so the beef Wellington is just awesome. You make the.
You mean the venison Wellington?
Yes. Did I say beef? God, idiot.
That's 2.
Yeah. Yeah, my foot's in the clouds. No, my head. Oh, yeah. So the Vinny Welly is just a puff pastry, and it's basically almost an entire backstrap. But in the puff pastry, you've got the the duxelle, which is garlic, a little mushroom, and some onion. Now it's all sautéed, and then you basically just make a venison blanket, and then put that thing in the oven for like 20 or 30 minutes. Sweet Mother of Mary, it is outstanding. So it's become kind of a Christmas tradition, and we really enjoy it. Something that I cook year round is kind of like your popper, but it's a little bit different. What I do is I get an entire or a good chunk of venison backstrap. Okay, I bleed it, I tenderize it. Okay, I'll season it up again, salt and pepper and or Montreal's, but then I'll butterfly it. All right, Won't cut all the way through, but I will butterfly that thing. What a butterfly cut is, just kind of a slice down the center of the Wellington long way, so you can kind of flip it over. Okay.
Down the back
And
strap?
then what's that?
Down the back strap?
I'm sorry, gee, that's three.
Strike three, you're out.
Yes, damn it. The venison back strap. Yeah. God, I'm so stupid. And then what I'll do is I will lightly saute some elephant ear garlic and a little onion, and I will stuff the butterflied venison backstrap with that. And then I'll put some jalapenos in there. Cannot touch real ones because I just die. So I get the jarred ones. And so I close up the backstrap, and then I do the exact same thing Jimmy does. I give it a bacon jacket, and and I put it on the grill. That's kind of what I like. But one of the problems with the grill and bacon, just like chicken and the grill, is the flare ups. You got to kind of watch it. But
next time,
when that thing cooks, it is so damn good. Oh,
next time you do that, document it step by step and do an article.
Well, I thought I did, but no, totally, I absolutely will. It is so easy, and it's so good. That elephant ear garlic. If you've never cooked with elephant ear garlic, I'm married to an Italian, so that stuff. What? Okay, yeah, that was my wife in the background saying best decision of your life. Yeah. The elephant ear garlic is much bigger, okay? It doesn't make your hands super sticky when you cut it, and it's extremely mild. So check it out. Elephant ear garlic, good stuff, good for cooking. But those are my favorites.
Nice. Well, yeah. I'd be remiss not to add to this discussion what I consider to be the best cut out of a deer, and that would be the heart.
Oh, I thought you said it was the butt.
Well, the whole?
No, not the whole butt.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, definitely the heart. Not my God. Let me tell you, if there's anyone out there that is, shooting a deer and throwing away the heart,
me?
I feel. Yeah, I was about. That's what I was alluding to. I feel bad for you because if you prepare that thing right, and it's not hard, it's probably harder to screw up if you follow the recipe, accurately. It is the best cut out of a deer. No,
right.
No, I mean no question. I've been telling you this.
I know
all season long.
Right, but do you have to bleed it?
No.
Bleeding heart.
I mean, it bleeds by the time you'll cook it. It would bleed enough. But I mean, no, you could cook it. That's one thing that I think you can cook right after basically pulling it out, as long as you wash it off enough. Believe it or not, even though it's the thing that's pushing the blood around.
I tell you what, let's do it Saturday. We'll do it Saturday and we'll post it. How about that?
All right.
Well, assuming you come.
We'll do it the next time I go, and we shoot a deer. Let's put it that way.
Okay, good. Oh well, yeah,
or someone shoots a deer. It doesn't have to be me.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'll bring the material for it, and then we can do that.
Excellent. Yeah.
But I'll also link to my recipe on that in the show notes as well if anyone's interested. Right. And if anyone shoots a deer and they don't want their heart, if they can somehow freeze it and send it to me, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, God, to make sure you get his address, not mine, because my wife is like, "Oh, look on Amazon! Oh my God!" All right, moving on. What let's go to your favorites.
Well,
how about the? Oh, no, okay, sorry.
Oh, well, here's what I was gonna say.
Yep.
What if we cut it off there and we save maybe birds or something for another one?
No, because
we'll come back.
No, you're right. No, you're totally right.
We don't want to give away the secret sauce all in one.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh, that does. I could go for a Big Mac. God, I'm fat.
One we can cover here. I think though that's in the genre, or two that we can cover real quick. That's in the. Well, no, I'll maybe do that one separate.
Really?
That's in the genre of venison.
You can tell we're really prepared for this.
What about axis and antelope?
Oh, you mean the Christ meat?
Oh my gosh, yeah, the greatest meat of all time.
Oh my!
Talk about immediately putting on the grill.
No, your father's right, kids. It's unbelievable. Yeah, no, Axis meat. So, on the scale of deliciousness, the mule deer and the whitetail are, unfortunately, our native boys are kind of down there at the bottom. And then I would say Axis is at top. Elk is probably, well, I haven't had enough elk to judge, but it's incredible. And antelope's right up there as well. But boy, that Axis stuff. Let's put it this way: unless you are covered up with Axis deer, like our friends are in the hill country, okay, you shoot an Axis, man, you have got to save every stinking piece of it. I'm talking about dropping the guts, getting the rib meat, because it is that good. It's something else. Yeah, now I know why tigers eat them. They're delicious,
awesome, and they're beautiful animals.
Gorgeous.
I mean, you also got to keep the hide and everything. I mean, come on, man, it's great. But no, I agree. That is by far the best.
Yep.
If I ever make it one day, I'm gonna have a ranch, and all I'm gonna have on there, I'm gonna hike it in Texas, and all I'll have on there is Axis deer. I'm gonna have an Axis sanctuary.
Yeah, you know what he's implying, folks? He's implying the slaughter of innocent baby white-tailed deer.
Well, there may be no whitetails on the property I buy, so I could just high fence it, and it wouldn't be an issue. No whittle genocide going on.
Oh God. Well, I tell you, hey, I'll let you come shoot some whitetail and come, or maybe I'll give you our Axis herd. They don't seem in any hurry to make more babies. By the way, I gotta do something about that. We'll talk about that offline.
But the other one, antelope. In particular, the only one I've had is the black buck antelope.
Yep. Oh, God. No, you're right. There are so many of them.
Yeah, and black buck is really good.
It is really good.
It is
totally agree. And I would encourage you all, and I have not done it, but I really want to. First of all, I've never killed an antelope. I mean, we've got them, but I've never killed one yet. But I would love to take a shoulder, assuming it's not all blown to hell, take a shoulder and put that dude in a crock pot or something of that nature, because that, I've seen a couple of deals on YouTube of guys taking whitetail shoulders, and it looks great. You've got a little bit of sinew, between all the different joints and muscles and all that kind of stuff. But after it's been in a crock pot or the oven or a smoker for a while, it wipes it out, Mm-hmm. So that would be really good. I have put a black buck ham on the grill, and that was outstanding too. They're good eating.
Yeah, so they're getting a lot harder to find out there. I don't know. You shoot at them once, and then they realize maybe we ought to hide.
Yeah, when you have bullets whizzing over your head, you'd probably be doing the same thing. That's why our pigs disappeared until my brother-in-law was sitting in the blind. He's like, "Oh my God, is that a hog?" I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, unbelievable! I've never seen one on that part of the property.
Yeah. No, that's very true. But I'll tell you, in the very beginning, when we first got it, up there towards kind of the front, I mean, it used to be a slaughter fest. Dad broke in his AR-15 the night of his birthday. I mean, it was ugly. It was amazing. Talk about wish we had that was back during the flip phone epidemic, so we didn't have a good video. But that
was epidemic. That was a transition period.
Yeah. Wrong word again. Was a 4 or 5 tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's do the birds next time because, man, there's a lot involved with that. Ducks and geese and
all sorts of them, right?
And dove and turkey and wild chicken and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'll be a good one on its own.
Bald eagle. God have mercy.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, that's made me a little hungry, even though I already ate. I actually ate venison tonight.
Did you?
Laura made hamburger helper with venison, but not out of the box. She made it from scratch. So
really,
actually making the flavoring with spices and everything. It was really good.
Wow, excellent. Wow, that's nice. I had tortellini. I had venison too. I had tortellini, and we put some meat into it just so it's got some protein. And I ate Yeah, pretty much an entire bin of spinach. So it's one of the big things used for salads. I ate the whole thing, and that's why right now I'm really hurting. So,
so it's a good time to cut this off, is what you're saying?
Yeah, big time. Before we don't have a choice. But yeah,
All right.
It's the off season. Good time. Well, it's not the off season yet, but it's coming very soon.
More or less.
Yep.
All right. No. All right, folks. Well, we hope you enjoyed that one. If you got any venison ideas or venison recipes that you would love to share with us, please send them our way.
Yep.
We'd love to try them. Send them to howdy@feedbandit.com, and we'll start a communication. We'd really love to see them. So,
yep.
All right. With that, have a good one, and don't forget to support your local feed store. Thanks for listening to the Feed Bandit podcast. Just a reminder to text the word bandit to 345-345. And when you do, you'll join our email list where we'll send killer deals on innovative hunting products and services, along with entertaining tips and tricks straight to your inbox. You don't want to miss out. So again, text the word bandit to 345-345, and we look forward to seeing you on the hunt. Until next time, have a good one, and remember to support your local feed store.